So recently I've been doing some maintenance out at the traffic signals, and I'm finding that some of these battery backup units are no longer working in the cabinet. So I've troubleshot the problem down to the actual unit itself. Now I am back at the shop today and I'm going through our inventory of our spare Alpha battery backup units. If you're familiar with them, they are lead acid battery systems. And so these have come from various places such as signal knockdowns where the cabinets were completely wiped out and the units were pulled out and thrown in inventory. Also, they would have came from, say, signal upgrades where they upgraded the cabinet and they got a new battery backup system when they did that. And so this was just pulled out and put in our inventory. So today I am making sure that these units that have been sitting for a while are still actually operational. And if they are, I can go ahead and use these and replace the ones that are no longer good out in the street.
Now the first part of the test is to take these 4 batteries and wire them in series so we have a 48 volt output of these batteries when they're wired together. And I started to connect this main cable up to these 4 batteries. I've got the first 2 in place. What I'm going to do is finish this one and this one here and get these all wired up. And you see here with the Fluke meter, we're getting a little over 52 volts output from these 4 batteries. So they've charged, and so we're good to hook this up to the actual units. Now on the battery backup connection, we have an input here and we have an output. So our input, what I've done is I hacked an extension cord here and taken my 3 wires, the line to the L, the neutral to the N, and then your ground to the ground connection. And that's going to actually hook up to a cord that we're going to plug into an outlet. And then on this side, I just made up the little terminal here and wired an L, that's going to be our hot output, to here, and then our neutral, which is going to be our output, to here. Now for our connectables to the actual unit, we have to put in our battery temperature probe. If this is not in, it's going to register a fault with the unit. So we always want to plug these in to make sure that we don't have a problem there. So that's plugged in. I'm going to plug in my batteries there. As you notice, the unit breaker for the batteries is currently off. And then on this end, we're going to go ahead and wire up our LED. I've just taken a spare LED here, and I have the neutral here that's hooked up to that terminal going to the N, or neutral, on the output, and then our hot wire that would be going to the LED going to that terminal and wired to the L for the output, hot output. Now I've got my extension cord plugged into the outlet there, the other end here. And before I plug this into the input of this battery backup, I have both breakers off, the input breaker and the battery backup breaker. And now I'm going to take this and plug this in. Now with that plugged in, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the breaker here. And you can see that it's registering. Let's see here, I'm going to go scroll, select. You can see I have an input of 125 volts that's coming from the outlet, and I have an output of 123 volts. So currently, without battery backup, it is inputting, taking the input and transferring it to the output, and you can see we have the LED lit up. Now I'm going to turn on the battery breaker. That fault has gone away because it's registering the batteries now. And if we keep scrolling down, it recognizes those battery voltage around the 56 volts. So now that we've done this, we can actually test and verify that if we would lose power, that LED continues running. So I'm just gonna take this here, hold it with my foot because I don't have a third hand, pull that. No more power to the input of that battery backup. You can see by that flashing, a flash means that it's on battery backup. We can go ahead and double check the input. There is no input. If we scroll down, it is still putting 120 output. So this is a good unit that we can use and replace out in the field.
So I'll give you the backstory as to why I was testing out my inventory alpha units. We had a project come through where we were swapping out old batteries on our battery backup systems on about 40 intersections. And I was telling everybody, yeah, once we get these batteries swapped, we'll be fully up and operational again, take on any kind of power outages. Well, about 28 of those 40 actually worked. The other 12 were just bad alpha units due to age. So that didn't quite live up to me proclaiming that 100% is going to be up and going again. Anyway, now you know how to test your inventory, alpha units. If you got questions or comments, leave them below, and I will see you next time.